Teamster Power 767 Reality Check with Jeff Schenfeld and Garfield Hooper.
All right, welcome to another episode of Teamster Power Reality Check. No time to waste. Hope all is well, Garfield. We're getting right into it.
Absolutely.
Article 6, Extra Contract Agreements.
Yes.
Section 1. So, extra contract agreements. Over the years, you've seen people, try to do their own little deals with management. That's a no-no. We don't do that.
Well, I mean, we had a big deal with it several years ago when they were trying to get people to sign a thing about going Code 5. Like, if you came in, you had to sign off that you were going Code 5, and we were just like, no, we're not going to sign that. And they were getting all pissy about it. And then, you come up with other things, like the clocking out to drive to lunch thing, that sheet of paper that they hand out. They were trying to get everybody to sign. No, we're not going to sign that stuff. It's and of course the biggest one was the buyouts. But a lot of people consider that an extra contractual agreement.
Yeah.
O'Brien himself said it was an extra contractual agreement, and those buyouts have come and gone, and we've heard nary a peep from the IBT about it. Yeah. So,
nothing.
As expected. But I'm going to go ahead and read this section for us. Article 6, Section 1, Extra Contract Agreements. Except as may be otherwise provided in this agreement, the employer agrees not to enter into or attempt to enter into any agreement or contract with its employees, either individually or collectively, or to require or attempt to require employees to sign any document, either individually or collectively, which in any way conflicts with the provisions of this agreement. Any such agreement or document shall be null and void. Any such agreement or document may not be placed in an employee's file or used by the employer as a basis for discipline or used in connection with any disciplinary proceeding, nor may any such agreement or document nor the contents thereof be divulged to any person or entity. In addition, the company will not discipline an employee for refusing to sign any company form related to the principle of a fair day's work unless the signing is required by law or by this agreement. Rule of thumb is, and I was told this years ago by one of the stewards in my first center, don't sign anything but your paychecks. It's that simple.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And if management's coming to you, it probably goes against the contract, right?
Probably.
Yeah, it probably does. So, I mean, you really don't get into that. Plus, you really should have a steward around unless you don't want the steward because you want to make the agreement, right? So, it's not what we do.
No,
it's not what we do.
We don't make deals with management. There's one contract. There's one contract and one supplement for your individual area, and that dictates your work, your pay, your vacations, all that stuff. Let it be there for that. And
good or bad, it's there, and we have to follow it. We're not going to do what the company likes to do and break the contract. We got to do right.
Yeah,
we always have to do right.
100%.
So, I mean I think that's pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
I mean that's a no. Extra contract agreements, no. That's it. Simple. We'll just leave it at that, right?
Yeah. Section 2, work rate reduction. I don't know that I've ever had to deal with any of this. What about you? Have you ever had to deal with any kind of a work week reduction, Jeff?
I mean, nothing. I mean, just not a work week reduction. Just layoffs, right? If they just do a straight layoff, not just. And they'll play their games where they're only working. They'll try to only work people. I mean, you show up, you get your guarantees. So I mean, it's they really have to go above and beyond. But I mean, they'd have to, you'd have to go through a bunch of things. You can't just do that. The company can't just do that. Yeah. So, I mean, is it possible? I mean, anything's possible these days.
Especially.
Yes. Yeah.
This is a short one. I'm going to read this one too. Section 2, Workweek Reduction. If either the Fair Labor Standards Acts or the Hours of Service regulations are subsequently amended so as to result in substantial penalties to either the employees or the employer, a written notice shall be sent to either party requesting negotiations to amend those provisions which are affected. Thereafter, the parties shall enter into immediate negotiations for the purpose of arising in a mutual satisfactory solution. In the event the parties cannot agree to a solution within 60 days or mutual agreed extensions thereof after the receipt of the stated written notice, either party shall be allowed economic recourse. So, I mean, stuff like maybe if the DOT hours of service were changed, something like that. Maybe something might be, maybe that might call into Section 2.
Remember they did that a bunch of years ago, when they wanted to change it from, was it 60 to 70 initially,
Yeah.
And, and then, they had to go through a whole process and we wouldn't find out till the last minute. So,
well, the only other thing I can think of that might change this is if they like get rid of Saturdays. There's been a little bit of talk around that they may be reducing Saturdays back to ground, but I mean, even then, we'll still have air on Saturdays. So, like, I don't even know if that would constitute a work week reduction. So,
yeah. If it comes up, I mean, we'll, if something like that ever comes up, we'll make sure we have an episode pertaining to whatever's going on, so we can explain for that particular situation.
100%.
So, yeah. So
Section 3, new equipment.
Yes.
Where new types of equipment and or operations for which rates of pay are not established by this agreement are put into use after the ratification date of this agreement within operations covered by the agreement. Rates governing such operations shall be subject to negotiations between the parties. The graph shall apply to all new types of equipment, including office and clerical equipment, in the event an agreement cannot be reached within 60 days after the date such equipment is put into use. The matter shall be submitted to the National Grievance Committee for final disposition. Rates agreed upon or awarded shall be effective as of the date equipment is put into use. So I'm assuming this is for like new equipment for like us to use in like the part-time or like in the buildings or something like that. Like maybe like
yeah. And like you might need to be trained on it, and it's just a certain thing. And because of that, maybe they pay a little bit more. I don't know. And that's, again, that's a situation when it comes up. If it comes up, we deal with that. Because,
I would love to see, since it's called new equipment, I would love to see stuff like the cameras and stuff fall under this. Like, feels like that kind of stuff. I mean, like, it's obviously not going to change your rate of pay, but new monitoring equipment and stuff like that, I feel like should come into play on that. But we'll talk about that a little bit later in this section as well, because we've got technological changes and that kind of stuff coming up.
Wow, the cameras. Yeah, we don't want to get into that right now.
We talked about that quite a bit last week.
Yes. We did.
We're going to skip down to section 5 real quick, and we're going to have a part 2. And do the technology in one episode. So we're going to go ahead and do hourly training. Basically, this is just if you're used as a trainer, if you train somebody else, if you're a part-timer and you're teaching somebody how to load trucks, or if you're a driver and you're training somebody on a route, or whatever, like, you get paid extra for that kind of stuff. That's in part 2 here of this section 5. Obviously, training is voluntary. They can't force you to train somebody else. Trading driver helpers doesn't count.
Well, it even says with the based off knowledge, if you're on the car, if there are two people on the car, you should get the premium pay because of your knowledge of the route, right? Just training them to do it. So I mean that's something. I think it used to be something like, I think it was like 75 cents.
Yeah.
It used to be.
I think we did. I think, was it this contract that we got the $1, or was it the last contract that we got the $1? I can't remember which one it was. I know it's one of the last two.
Yeah, it might have been the last one. I'm not sure. But, it's and the company doesn't, and the thing is the company doesn't like to do it, right?
No, they won't tell you. And like we've had I've talked to part-timers and stuff that'll teach people how to load trucks and stuff like that, because God knows the supervisors don't know how to do it. And I spent a whole day basically babysitting somebody and teaching them how to load the truck. I was like, you should have gotten paid $1 more an hour for that. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you're talking about on a preload schedule, you're talking about $4 or $5, but that's a burger.
It's still, and with, as like anything else, it goes by seniority with the training.
Yeah.
So
if they want you to train somebody, and you're getting paid more, seniority says that, the top people should get the opportunity to do that first.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's basically simple. If they need you to train, and bring it up to them. Yeah. Hey, you want me to train? Hey, is this in seniority order? And and you let them know it's an extra $1, because if you don't say any, and you shouldn't have to, but I guess you do.
Yeah.
Hey, this is for training. Yeah. And we get that established, because they'll be like, no, you were just on there, showing them how to do stuff. It's not training. That's
somebody asking you to do it may not know the language. Like, I'm not going to tell you that any of these part-time supervisors out here, helping you out in the preload local sort, they know the contract. Yeah. They don't. But, that's where it comes into. If you're listening to this and, you get regularly used to teach people how to do something, bring it up. Be like, hey, I was used for training on this day for this many hours. I deserve that extra $1 an hour. That's what this is all about.
And no one training should turn into management.
No.
There's no discipline.
No.
That's not why you're there.
I mean, it's one of the parts that no trainer shall be required to train any method which violates the collective bargaining agreement.
Yep. Absolutely.
Teamster represented trainers will not be permitted to discipline any employee or recommended disciplinary action.
Yeah.
And to be honest, if you're a Teamster, you shouldn't be recommending disciplinary action to anybody.
No.
Period.
Not at all. Yeah, and if you're, and lastly, it even says if you're on the truck and there's an accident, you can't be held liable for it. So, I mean, it's still, still covered. It's just always do the right thing. You're just helping a fellow member. You're not disciplining them. You're not doing anything. You try to make it easy for them, but hey, just make sure you're getting paid the premium pay if they're asking you to do that, because
exactly.
they'll make it very easy. Like, hey, do me a favor. No.
I'll do you a favor. You do me a favor and give me that $1 extra an hour.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Yeah, it is. So, but so I think that was it we were going to talk about just on this episode,
right?
We're
going to talk about this in part 1, and part 2 we're going to do the technology stuff in the next one.
Yeah, because that's a lot more. And, we'll discuss that.
Yeah,
so
we will.
But just like anything else, I just want to say it's still warm outside. Still drink the water. Stay hydrated.
Yes, please.
Whatever you have to do, just. It's a little bit slower in Texas. The weather is still going to stay warm.
Fall hasn't hit us just yet.
That I'm hoping. I'm hoping.
I'm ready for those. It's funny because I was talking with one of my other drivers this week. It's funny, like this is like the good time. There's a little bit of time in the spring and a little bit of time in the fall where it's like nice out. It's not too cold. It's not too hot.
You don't mind, right?
Yeah, you don't mind so much.
We had last weekend. We had we had Richard Hooker on. We had Mike Moxley, Eric Johnson. And those two right there, Moxley and Johnson, they did the research, right, about the infrared light.
Yeah.
And they put the money out. The IBT wanted nothing to do with it. They wanted nothing to do with it. Don't know why, but we found out that there are issues. Okay. And you can go back to that episode. You can see Eric is very well spoken. He explains exactly what, if you take a certain type of medication or whatnot. And it's an issue. And again, no one told us anything, even if it's a minimal risk, an acceptable risk. What's acceptable?
Yeah.
They make things acceptable because they want them to be acceptable, right? But you don't know 20 years down the line.
No.
Right? You don't know what could happen. So what Eric came up with is a infrared light survey. We're going to post this, on the attached to the to this episode.
Yeah.
Everyone who's drivers, feeders, everyone who's come across those cameras, fill out the survey. It's all private.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
That information is not going anywhere. It's important. We want to know if you're having any eye issues. There's the whole survey. You'll see the survey, and just go to it at the end of the podcast. Click on the link. And when you do it, when you submit it, it just submits it in. Fill it out and submit it. It goes right in.
Yep.
You don't have to do anything else.
Yep.
So
we appreciate any information.
We've had a lot of people fill. You what?
We appreciate any information anybody has for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We want to know if you're having any issues seeing or whatnot. We want to continue getting as much information as we can for the safety of the members, right? How about that? That's a novel concept, right?
Yeah.
So all right, glad we talked about this. Important. And so for myself and Garfield, everyone have a good day.
We all deal with national language, but on this podcast, when it comes to supplemental language, we deal mostly with the southern region. And as always, it's best to get advice from your local stewards or business agents. If you would like to reach out to us with any questions, we have an email address, 767realitycheck@gmail.com. That's 767realitycheck@gmail.com.
And remember, strong people stand up for themselves, but the strongest people stand up for others.